Hey, what's going on? This is the Gemini Exotica podcast. This is episode 3 titled Mangrove Mango Groove. You know, I'm feeling a bit good today. Feeling a bit excited. I feel like I'm connected to the Earth's rotation, as if the universe is smiling through my chest. You know what I'm saying? But no, today's a good day. You know, aside from feeling very uplifted, I thought I was going to have like a mediocre dinner, but then I found a frozen steak in the back of the freezer. Yeah, I dropped that in the skillet. Little bit of butter, slow cook, draining the water as it's defrosting. But no, it ended up tasting pretty good. But yeah, so enough of that. I think I got some good jokes lined up. Pretty interesting little story. So let's get right into it. In the mangrove swamp, the blue oysters curled up tightly together, forming a shelled fortress of bound barricades. They nestled in, shifting their shells to interlock with their neighbor, and like clockwork gears, the oysters became one solid block. Well, night fell, and the moon shifted, and the water in the mangrove swamp began to lower. Soon, high tide was no longer high. It was medium, and then it was low. Once a refined crystalline pool of safe, shallow, tucked away deep in the mangroves, was now an unfenced sea garden waiting to be culled by scavengers and bandits. The oysters held firm, for the night would be long and the conditions were hostile. First, a four-legged creature with big orange eyes, brown wiry hair, and dagger-like canines climbed about the canopy. The creature snickered and cheered as it peered at the oysters from the treetops. It licked its lips as it slowly ventured down, using all four limbs to swing confidently closer and closer. With a wide grin, it reached down with its grotesque palm and gripped a patch of the oysters. It pulled hard, but the oyster's bond was too strong. Second, a pole-legged night walker stalked the darkness. Sleek as a bullet, it waited delicately, hiding its demon wings. Approaching the defunct grotto, it paused and stared with an unblinking eye. Aiming its long razor bill, it clacked hard thrusts into the small gaps between the oysters, leveraging neck muscles to curl the shells apart. It pried hard, but the oyster's bond was too strong. Third, a plated alien creeped along the sandy bottom, sweeping its antennae, carving the dust and debris, searching for a morsel. With pointed, spiny limbs, it crawled in a robotic fashion, flexing two large, bionic mallets. It approached the oysters and slathered their shells. With 6 legs pricking, it attempted to wedge its skewer-like appendages into the seams. It picked, but the oyster's bond was too strong. Eventually, the moon shifted and the water rose with the morning sun. With that, the beings of the night fleeted. The oysters were safe for now. The end. Yeah, so I kind of like that story. You know, it's got a little bit of a mixture of teamwork, tight bonds, family units, and you know, it took a little bit of a dark twist for sure. When I sit down to write these stories, I usually just kind of have a particular word in my mind or an idea or something, and I just kind of go with the flow. And you know, mangrove stuck out to me this past week for whatever reason. And I don't know. I always liked mangroves. I took a trip down to Cancun, and I saw these immaculate mangrove swamps. And you'd be like, you know, you're on the beach with women, and you have pools with drinks and all this. Yeah, I know. Those were all good, but the mangrove swamps were very cool to me for some reason. And, I had these imaginations while I was in a daze floating in the pool after multiple, I think they called them banana monkeys, but of just being kind of like a little fish or like a crocodile that would swim about the mangroves doing aquatic things. I don't know. I haven't been to the zoo. I don't know what these animals do. But, yeah, but the story, as always, happy ending. The creatures of the night were not successful. And, I think I got a lot of motivation for these happy endings from movies like a Nacho Libre or like an LA Confidential. Because too many movies, I feel, they want to give you this bad taste where the hero doesn't end, like the family is got split apart and they're still haunted and they're still on the run and all this stuff. And I get that movie, but I like movies happy ending, positivity. You leave the audience feeling motivated. You let them leave feeling happy. They can accomplish their goals, right? So yes, happy endings, positivity, tight bonds, mangrove swamps. There's a connection there. I'm not sure what it is. Anyways, let's get into some jokes. So joke number one here. When I was writing the story, and the reason why the oysters were exposed was because of it going from high tide to low tide. And when I wrote high tide, I kind of thought of high noon. And, I was thinking it would be like some cowboy mermaids drawing their tridents at high tide. But maybe they'd be like manatee boys or something, because manatees are kind of like the cows of the sea, right? They're just these big objects that graze around. They eat seagrass. I think I saw that on Discovery Channel. They eat seagrass. They just be eating seagrass and get hit in the back by a jet ski. And now I wonder what a manatee steak would taste like. Because I'm sure it'd be pretty good, honestly. Because think about it. It's just drifting in the water, so the meat would be very tender. It's in the salt water, so it would already be naturally seasoned. Probably a lot of blubber, right? It would be, in the restaurant, like, wow, look at the fat composition. It's very marbling. Is this Wagyu? No, that's manatee. Oh, very interesting, very interesting. And it would probably pair nicely with seafood. Like, instead of a surf and turf, it would just be a surf and surf, manatee lobster. And, like, when you're in the restaurant, instead of saying, oh, my steak's got a lot of fat in it or whatever, you'd be like, oh, my manatee burger's got a lot of scars in it, because I think it's very often that manatees get hit by boats and jet skis and things like that. And yeah, I think they're a majority from Florida, so, a lot of boaters, the water's pretty shallow. Like, imagine being a manatee in Miami. It's Miami, so I'm guessing these people are cruising around a bit under the influence. And, a natural thing to do when you're driving a boat and you see a big gray thing in the water right in front of you is to speed up and run it over. So yeah, you would be like, oh, my manatee steak has got so much scarring in it. Yeah, that manatee must have been near the docks. That was a dock manatee, and manatee steak cuts from, no humans would be really well. It's like, oh, this manatee is 100% kelp fed, free swimming. But enough of manatees. Well, actually, I think you probably wouldn't even be able to get a manatee burger, not because of the ethics of eating a manatee, but I think they're endangered. But if you made eating manatees kind of like a mainstream thing, people would have to hunt manatees, and hunting is actually good for populations of animals. Like if you look at it, after people need to buy license to hunt certain animals, the population goes up because the money used to sell the license, right? They go into conservation efforts. So maybe eating manatees will indirectly save them. But that's also under the assumption that manatees even taste good. But I think humans are selfish enough that cute if cute animals were delicious, we would totally slaughter them. I mean, think about baby cows. Like, baby cows are adorable, and veal is still consumed. It's just like a matter of what's generally accepted in your culture or not. If it was found out that manatee went excellent with barbecue sauce and a side of mac and cheese, I mean, people would definitely eat it. You'd see it on the Food Channel, like Guy Fieri munching on a deep fried baby manatee. So, on a more positive note, going with the theme of sea life that I guess we're getting into now, dolphins could get high off of pufferfish. And, it's just amazing how animals figure out these things, but it also is amazing how even animals try to find ways to relieve the day-to-day of life. Like, you would think a dolphin is just swimming through the ocean, but no, it has so much stress just being a dolphin, it has to also get high to kind of relax a little bit. So, these dolphins will play with these little pufferfish. And I mean, I like to imagine that the dolphin, inhales the pufferfish like a nitrous balloon. And I don't want to sound like I've done this before. I've seen this on like Vice on YouTube. But it inhales it like a nitrous balloon, and dolphins really have like a character to be high, right? They got the laugh. They flip in the air, and people think it's cute, but the dolphins are probably just stoned out of their minds, jumping and doing 360s and stuff, and no, I would say, I mean, they got pretty big brains, so I feel their actual trip would be extremely amplified. Like, the thoughts that a dolphin thinks about while high it's probably actually kind of similar to us. Like, like, I feel like I'm underwater. Well, you're a dolphin, so you are. Like, oh, right. Or, they're thinking to themselves, like, so I got my nose on my back. Every animal has their nose on their face, but I have the nose on my back. And it's like, well, yeah, so, if you ever get choked out by a great white shark or something, you can still breathe. Also, the nose on your back is closer to your lungs. Instead of having to go through like an esophagus, just the air goes straight into your lungs. These are kind of, I'm trying to think about what a dolphin would think about while it's high. But yeah, I mean, I saw that and I was like, I don't know if anybody has actually tried to do pufferfish toxin as a drug. I mean, people do the toad venom, but I've yet to hear anything about using the pufferfish. Like, we're using toad juice, but we won't use pufferfish squirt. Actually, I could imagine a couple of manatee boys out on the range or the sea floor sitting around a fire coral. You know, pufferfish pass. Let's do a line in the sand. You know, instead of getting like a gas mask bong, they just have a scuba bong. And, oh, that's actually, like, imagine going high while, imagine going scuba diving while high. Imagine getting high and getting into scuba diving gear and just sitting in your living room. No, imagine going scuba diving while high. I mean, I went for a hike while I was high, and it was pretty intense. Like, I felt like I was Sasquatch. I felt like I was like a woodland entity. But I just imagine now doing that scuba diving. Oh, that would be maybe too intense. I have gone scuba diving once. And it was really, really, really amazing. I mean, the nerves getting into the water and then going down. Because, I mean, your brain is just saying, yeah, we are not supposed to be doing this. What do you think you're doing? And then your like other brain is like, oh, no, we got some oxygen attached to our back, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. No, it does not. What do you mean we have oxygen? What if it goes out? We're 40 feet below the surface. I've been swimming with this body. This is the brain talking, by the way. I've been swimming with this body for 22 years. I know we can't hold our breath. We can barely swim. Now we're going 40 feet under the water where there's sharks and moray eels and coral and, you know, spiny sea urchins. But it is cool once you kind of accept the fact that at any moment you could drown. But where was I? Oh, yes. So instead of like a gas mask bong, they would have like a scuba bong. And, you know, they would just be like, shh, oh, where'd you get this? And then one of the mermaid guys would be like, I stole this from a human, this stupid air breather. he drowned. But I think scientifically speaking, like, a mermaid inhaling oxygen would get them high, right? Because, you know, they would use gills. If they just took straight oxygen through the mouth, I mean, they wouldn't have lungs. Would an ovary be a mermaid caviar? Oh. Well, anyways, you know, they would be high, and, you know, maybe, like, they would be like, I got this net on my back, or, like, I got this plastic bag on my back, you know, because it's because of pollution, you know, instead of having a monkey on your back, you just have a plastic bag. But I guess that's another symbolic thing of the Old West, you know, like, instead of a herd of manatee having threats of, like, wolves and, well, I guess in the ocean would be sharks, but, like, you know, bear with me. Like, instead of a herd of manatees having issues like wolves and bears or whatever, you know, their issue would be pollution. Like, their predator is the plastic bag, and rising ocean temps is exactly why they are endangered in the first place. So, as you could see, this joke goes a lot deeper than you would just think of mermaid cowboys drawing their tridents at high tide. No, it's actually a story about why we need to save the oceans. I have an idea. Why don't we just get a big net and scoop all the garbage out? I'm sure that would work. But the pufferfish is an interesting fish. I mean, how did this thing, survive for so long? Like, my self-defense is becoming slow and unable to swim. Any other family that makes that, or I guess any other animal that makes that adaptation, their genetic line is over right there. Just imagine a gazelle got fat, being chased by a lion. It never work. It's funny how speed is such a needed thing in the animal kingdom. Like, speed is sleek and is efficient. And I guess that means there's a lot of things we can learn from the animal kingdom, which may be able to help us understand, like, economic behavior. Like, for example, survival of the fittest when it comes to companies. Well, I guess in this sense, I mean, like, most of the big companies are like those turtles that just can't survive on their own, so they need some lady to feed it mangoes or whatever in the zoo. Like, these are the last 2 turtles we have. That's, like, too big to fail. Like, let the tortoises die, okay? I know they're cute, they're dinosaurs or whatever, but they can't, they're not, they don't have any means to survive anymore. Why do we let them, just let them go in peace? Their time was here and it's now over. We have better animals. We have jaguars. We have tigers. We have chameleons. These are animals that have adapted to live. The tortoise went the wrong way. It got slow and bulky. It can't even escape into its shell like a turtle. It can't even swim. Its whole life depends on a predator not finding it. It's too big to fail. Let it die. But anyways, so there's a lot of things we can find in nature. Survival of the fittest. We went over that. Population growth, which is like, people going up. Because there's more food that could be grown. There's more things that can be produced. We have a better infrastructure. In the animal kingdom, when there's more prey, predators grow up, right? And I think the greatest thing what animals can teach us is that why we begin clubbing and eating each other when there is no food. Because that's what they do in the animal kingdom. I mean, there's no food. The lions start eating the other lions. It's just that simple. And, I mean, I think human beings live in this fallacy of we all like and love each other. But that's just simply not the case. At the right moment, when the conditions are just bad enough, we would go ballistic. Most people go ballistic now. They just do it through the law. But once the law is, you can murder. I mean, I feel like if the law allowed people to murder, people would murder. It's just that the law says no, and we had multiple generations of non-murdering people, so we just assume that murdering is bad. But I mean, imagine living in a society where murder was like part of the culture, like the Vikings, or the Old West, or Chicago. No, Chicago is an interesting city. It's a windy city, so maybe that's why all the murders, nobody gets caught because all the evidence just gets blown away. Or maybe it's a lack of funding and mistreatments to certain neighborhoods. Maybe that's why there's that. Well, all the funding, like they have a big pile of money in a shopping cart, and they're like, okay, this is going to that neighborhood, and the wind just blows it all away. all the murder evidence and money just ends up on the Great Plains somewhere. But yeah, I feel like if you were really hungry and there was like a guy that was not fast and you were really hungry, you would eat him. I really believe you would beat him and eat him in worst comes to worst. I feel like that's just all humans, and you would have like these Portland people being like, "We can't eat anybody. Stop! It's not right." And they'd be like, "Oh, you're so right. Hey, you want to know what? You seem like a nice lady. Why don't you come over to my house? We got a great dinner preparation." She'd be like, "Oh my God, that'd be so much." And I'd just be like, hit her, hit her, hit her, hit her, entertaining her, hit her, hit her, hit her. "Oh, you look so lovely tonight. Did you make that necklace yourself?" "Oh my God, yeah." What? Bang. But I mean, you can't live in a society like that because everybody would just be nervous. Everybody would just be on the edge of going insane all the time. Like, do you think a gazelle out on the Sahara ever has the ability just to chill out? It's just always thinking, where's the lion? "Oh my God, that's a lion. Oh, no, that's just a rock. That's just a rock. Okay, no big deal, no big deal. Haha, just another rock. Okay. Oh, look at that, just a rock. Oh my God, wait, no, that's a lion." Bonk. Then its neck is just being crushed while its back legs are being torn apart. Yeah, that would be a horrible society to live in. Just in a constant fight or flight. And, I guess when it came to fight or flight, the pufferfish chose neither. All right, let's see what else we got. I've noticed I'm very good at gaslighting. But I don't do it often. And I mean, if I do, I'm just joking around. But I was thinking, I'm like, doesn't that kind of make me a hero? Isn't that the definition of a hero? You have a power to cause harm, but then you just don't act on it. And even better yet, you use the power to do good. So, like, maybe, I would say I could gaslight murderers to admitting they murdered. Like, hey, the wind didn't actually blow away the evidence. Matter of fact, the wind blew the evidence right to the police department. Or even, "Hey, Mr. Fury, we know you ate the face off of that baby manatee." "Yeah, you told us yesterday. Yeah, you told it right to CEO of Food Network." I could be like a gas lighting superhero. Maybe like the Green Lantern. The gas lantern, the gas latrine, the gassy latrine. That would be a good name for me. But I don't know. I'm trying to do better at comedy. I'm trying to manifest my destiny. Manifestation. I just say that to myself. Manifestation. 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 Emancipation. Proclamation. Manifestation. Freedom. You want to know what true freedom? Dancing. Dancing is so freeing. Because have you ever been in the club, feeling good, and the DJ plays your song, your song? Like as if the DJ somehow, either had like a private conversation with your psychologist. Like oh, he's having a bad day. I got the Just the playlist. Oh, he's having a really good day. You can play. I got the Just the playlist. As if the DJ entered your head and and read your mind somehow. But I don't know. I think that might be one of the greatest feelings. Like, it might be in comparison to being extremely drunk at an all-inclusive resort in Cancun in the infinity pool. You know, not a personal infinity pool. I'm talking like the public infinity pool. Just being drunk in Cancun. Confidence. Where is this confidence coming from? I don't know. It's probably the new tan. But, you know, just the feeling of being in the club and having your song come on. It's like, you know, I could just imagine being there. You know, I have 6 mixed drinks in me. I got 3 espressos in me. A little bit of weed. I got my butt plug in, and the DJ just played Super Duper Dance Mix Volume 8. You know, in other words, I'm about to go off. It's time to clear the dance floor. But, I guess in those moments, I really wish I had an idea of what I look like. You know, because in my mind, I feel like I'm a groovy eel. You know, I'm just slithering around, feeling myself. Like, I got some mango drink. I'm 50. Specifically at a singles resort in Cancun. I'm just 50 years old, overly tan, Speedo. You know, just come over here, overweight mama. With the bad suntan, or the bad sunburn. You know, come here, watch me dance. But, you know, but I mean, the club gives and it takes. You know, have you ever been in the club at like 3 a.m.? You know, the hangover is starting to set in, you're getting a little tired, and the lights came on for a second, and then the girl stopped dancing with you, and you're like, oh, that's great. I thought I had a shot. Well, she was going to find out anyways. I mean, we had to step out of the club at some time. But the worst is when the DJ starts playing Passion Fruit by Drake. You know, when you hear that, you're just like, oh, God. It's just like, you know, you're dancing and you're wiping the tears from your eyes at the same time. And there's always some kind of like purple, dark blue light that's just setting the tone. It's like, yeah, it's the end of the night. You're probably sad. You know, you came out to the club thinking you're going to have a good time. You just ended up doing a bunch of that baking soda and spending an insane amount on drinks. That was mostly soda. And yeah, there was a couple fun moments, but you're considering, was it all worth it right now? But, I don't know. Drake is a great rapper because he somehow makes you hyped, but he also makes you really in your feelings. He has like kind of the most bipolar music, but he's also got some club masterpieces. You know, if One Dance comes on at 2 a.m. and you're on the dance floor, that's just a magical experience. And I mean, if it's happened to you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I don't know. Sometimes I'll sing Drake in the shower. Sometimes I just sing in the shower. Sometimes I sing inside somebody. When I'm inside someone and I'm singing hallelujah. But, you know, whenever you're in the shower and you're singing and you get a little thirsty, the best part about being in the shower is you can just open your mouth and get a drink. But, that's all my jokes and material, I guess. So this is the end. But, you know, I guess what I kind of learned these past couple days, which, I mean, everybody always tells you, like, lessons, but lessons don't set in until, like, you actually experience them. It's like everybody's like, take it slow, learn the lessons, do a little bit every single day. You're like, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to cram it. But, and then you take a week to actually learn something, you're like, oh my god, if I dedicate a certain amount of time every single day to learning this one thing, I really learn it. It's like, they've been saying that since kindergarten. But, so the one thing that I've really set in motion today was just kind of respecting what you have. Not being happy with what you have, but respecting what you have. Because I notice, like, when I need this, I need that, I want this, I want that, those aren't bad emotions per se, but they're a little bit negative, So what I learned is to respect what I have, even if it's not ideal, because there really is, like, people that would invite me into their home for dinner and club me over the head and eat my body. They would do that to have what I have. So, I just put a very high value on what I currently own or working on, and I just live with it, and I'm happy with it. For better or for worse, I just accept it, and I'm happy. But don't be a schmuck. Like, if new opportunities come, don't be like, no, I'm happy with this. Are you out of your mind? Go get those new opportunities. Take a goddamn risk. But there's no need to be negative along the way. And I mean, you just got to keep it in mind. Like, you're not a gazelle in fight or flight, or even worse, just like a pufferfish. You're you, and you got certain gifts, and you got certain talents, and you're just in the process right now. And, some things are going to be a little bit difficult. But be happy with what you got. And that's all I got to say. So, this is the Gemini Exotica podcast. This has been fun as always. I'm looking forward to uploading new content. I don't know, maybe once, twice a week. We'll see how it goes. But this was episode 3, Mangrove, Mango Groove. Have a great one. See you soon. Bye.